introduction to the reciprocating pumps. In the diagram you can see a machinery is there. So that machinery is our reciprocating pump. So reciprocating pump works on the principle as that of a internal combustion engine. As internal combustion engine will have a cylinder and piston arrangement, such a similar arrangement is also present in this area of this reciprocating pump. Okay. The reciprocating pump will have a cylinder. So over here in this portion you can see, if we disassemble this machinery, then you can see one cylinder is there, and inside that cylinder a reciprocating piston is there. That reciprocating piston, it is further connected with the help of a shaft, and that shaft is nothing but the connecting rod. We call it as a connecting rod, and that connecting rod is connected to the crank, and the crank is connected to this external flywheel you can see. Okay, so a pulley or a flywheel you can say, and that pulley, it is again further connected with the help of the V belt to a machinery. Okay, or a motor is there, our electrical motor is there, or instead of this electrical motor we can use IC engine also as a power source. Okay. This reciprocating pump, in this reciprocating pump you can see one extra part, and this part is known as the air vessel. So what's there in this part? So this part consists of, so the half part of this air vessel will have the water, and half portion, the top portion of the this air vessel will consist of a compressed air, and this complete arrangement, it is fixed on a foundation. Okay, so that this machinery will not vibrate or will not move from its location because of the vibrations. Let's discuss some more points related to this reciprocating pump. So first point is it converts the reciprocating motion into the pressure energy. Okay, so whatever the reciprocating motion is there, so that is converted into the pressure energy. Again, in the centrifugal pump, as I have explained, that velocity of the flow is reduced because we are increasing the area of the casing. So similarly, here in this case of reciprocating pump, the velocity of flow is reduced and it is converted into the pressure energy. Ultimately the pressure of water, it will increase, and as pressure increases, so the meaning is that the pressure energy is increasing. So next point, generally power source is an electric motor or engine, as I have already told you. So it works on piston, or sometimes plunger is also used, and a cylinder arrangement, piston cylinder arrangement or plunger cylinder arrangement is there, and with the help of that we can deliver water at a required height. Then now principle of work. So pushing of liquid by a piston that executes a reciprocating motion into a closed fitting cylinder. Then next, it has a crankshaft connecting rod mechanism. Next point, as the piston moves towards the crankshaft, so the suction is created, and because of this suction the fluid is sucked from the reservoir To get the continuous output from the reciprocating pump, air vessels are used. Now I will explain you how this principle or how the working of this reciprocating pump is in the upcoming slides of the working of this reciprocating pump. I will explain you how this reciprocating pump works. The next point is components of the reciprocating pump. So in the diagram you can see there are different components. So the first basic component or the compulsory components are the cylinder and piston. Okay, over here you can see a cylinder is there. Okay, so this portion is the cylinder and this hatching portion is our piston. The similar arrangement you can see in the IC engines also. IC engines will also have a piston and a cylinder arrangement. Then again the IC engine will also have the connecting rod, then this crankshaft. Okay, these are the some similar parts of the IC engine and the reciprocating pump. Again in IC engine you will have inlet manifold and exit manifold. So similarly here the suction valve and delivery valves are present. Okay, so what is the function of this suction valve and delivery valve is, so the suction valve will allow the water to come in only. If we try to put that water or if we try to move the water from uh, away from the suction valve, then it is not possible. Okay, the suction valve only allows water to come into the cylinder. Okay, no exit is possible from the suction valve. If the water want to, or if we want to get the output or get the water delivered, then compulsorily the water will exit from this path only. Okay, so these suction valves and delivery valves are the one dimensional, or you can say these are the non-return valves. Okay, again suction pipe is there, then sump level. So this is the reservoir. From this we are lifting water because of the suction, and then when the piston is moving towards forward, if moving in the forward motion, so the water will get delivered. Again this is the suction head, this is delivery head. The total suction head and delivery head consists totally, or top of this is nothing but our gross head, you can say. Okay, so this is how the components of the reciprocating pump work. So first component, important component is piston or plunger, then cylinder, then air vessels. Now in this diagram air vessels are not shown, but the air vessels are required in order to get the continuous flow of water. Okay, I will explain you how this reciprocating pump works in very detailed manner in upcoming slides. Then suction valves, delivery valves, suction pipe, delivery pipe are the important components of the reciprocating pump. Okay, so in this diagram you can see these are the air vessels. So first air vessel and second air vessel. Sometimes only one air vessel is also installed on the suction pipe or on the delivery pipe. Okay, it is not necessary that each pipe or each suction pipe and delivery pipe must have, it is not that required. Okay, we can install a single air vessel also. This is the suction valve, again this is the delivery valve. Now what are we doing? We are sucking water from this level and we are delivering water to the container which is placed on the upside of this diagram. Okay, so now working of the reciprocating pump, I will explain you how it works in this diagram. Okay, let us consider the piston is over here. Okay, so this connecting rod and this piston shaft both will be in the extended position. Okay, the meaning is that when the piston is completely at the extreme position, let's say this is the left hand side. Okay, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड अगर से यहाँ पे पिस्टन आ रहा है लेफ्ट हैंड साइड, सो द एंगल मेड बाय दिस क्रैंक शाफ्ट एंड कनेक्टिंग रॉड विल बी 0. ओके, अभी जैसे जैसे पिस्टन पीछे खींचा जाएगा, as the piston travels in the backward direction or as piston travels to the right side, the meaning now the angle 0, it's tending from 0 to, it is moving towards, or it is tending towards the 180 degree. So in this case what will happen, as this point will come at this 180 degrees, then what will happen, the piston will travel to the right hand side, and as the piston travels in the right hand side, what will happen, so suction is created in this area. Okay, and that area is a area of the cylinder. So in that portion a suction will be created, and as suction is created, what will happen, the water will get lifted into the cylinder. Okay, now this point is actually at 180 degrees. Now the return path, now we are following the return path. Then as this point reaches from 180 degrees up to 0, then what will happen, from 180 to 0, or from 180 to 360, let us consider for our sake of simplification. So as we are moving from 180 degrees to 360 degrees from this direction or from this direction, you can take any of the directions, the meaning is same. Okay, so because of that, what will happen, the piston will try to create some pressure on the water which is present over here. Okay, and because of that pressure, what will happen, the delivery valve will open and water will be fed to the overhead tank or at the above level or larger greater level from this reservoir. Okay, but now what will happen, understand what is happening over here. As the suction is created by this piston, only the suction valve is open. At the or during the suction stroke, what is happening, the delivery valve is closed. Okay, and when we are forcing, or when the piston is traveling from right hand side to left hand side, what will happen, the pressure will be created on this fluid or on this water which is present inside the cylinder. So at this position or during this stroke, what will happen, the suction valve will get closed. Okay, and only delivery valve will be open. Because of this, what will happen, during the suction stroke there will be no water getting out of the delivery pipe, correct, and during the delivery stroke there is no water coming into the cylinder, or suction valve will remain closed. Okay, now in order to because of this, what will happen, if during the suction only suction stroke or suction valve is open, and during the delivery valve will remain open, because of that, what will happen, there will be fluctuations in the pipe, in the water getting delivered into this tank. Okay, there will not be continuous flow of water getting. So in order to get this continuous flow of water, we need to install these air vessels. Okay, so the function of air vessels, what is the function of air vessels, so the portion which is shown in white color, it is nothing but the compressed air, and blue color is nothing but the water is there. So as we, or as the crankshaft is making, or as the crank is making 0 degree to 180 degree motion, so what will happen, the water will get inside the cylinder, as well as the water will get into the air vessel also. Okay, and because of that, what will happen, the water will remain over here, and as we, or as the crankshaft moves from 180 degrees to 360 degree, or from the piston will travel from right hand side to left hand side, what will happen, so it will create, or it will exert pressure on this water, and water will get delivered into the pipe, delivery pipe, and it will get delivered into the tank which is situated at higher levels. Okay, but a very small part of water, it will get into the air vessel also. Okay, and when in the during the next suction stroke, what will happen, the suction pipe, again this process will continue, but during the suction stroke, what will happen, the delivery valve will remain closed, and the water which is present in this air vessel, it will get delivered into the higher level. Okay, so that's why these air vessels are important in reciprocating pumps. Okay, if there are no air vessels, then what will happen, the flow or the output or the discharge of water will be, or it will not be continue. Okay, it will be fluctuating. So in order to get continuous discharge, we will have to install these air vessels. Okay, or you can replace these air vessels if we install the same arrangement over here, the suction pipe, delivery pipe. If we install the suction pipe and delivery pipe on the opposite side of the cylinder, then also it is possible to get the continuous flow. Okay, so if we install such suction pipe and delivery pipe on the other side of the cylinder, then the cylinder will act, or the reciprocating pump is known as the double acting reciprocating pump. Okay, right now the diagram shown is a single acting reciprocating pump. Okay, so there is another type which is known as double acting reciprocating pump. Okay, now the working, now the points that we have discussed, those points are mentioned in this slide. When the crank starts rotating from 0 degree to 180 degree, then the piston moves from extreme left, so from this position to this position, or extreme right. At this time, or this time, a partial vacuum is created in the cylinder. Okay, partial vacuum, or you can say suction, is created into the cylinder. Due to this suction generated into the suction pipe, this time the suction valve is open and delivery valve is closed. Okay, now this diagram shown is for the delivery stroke. Okay, so in the suction stroke, what will happen, so the suction valve is open and delivery valve will remain closed. Okay, the liquid comes into the cylinder, fill into the cylinder, which is known as the suction stroke. Okay, then next, when the crankshaft rotates from 180 degree to 360 degree, the piston moves from right to left. Now the piston is moving into the opposite direction as shown in this diagram. Okay, so now the piston is returning from right side to left side. Okay, so during this stroke, what will happen, this movement causes the pressure increase into the cylinder above the atmospheric pressure. The pressure will increase above the atmospheric pressure, and because of that, this suction this time suction valves remain closed and delivery valve remains open. Okay, the liquid forcefully pressed and delivered at the required height, and this is known as the delivery stroke. Okay, in both the strokes a complete revolution of crank is done. Okay, when uh, during the suction stroke and delivery stroke, so complete 180 degrees 360 degree of the crankshaft is rotation is completed. So this process is continuously repeated and delivery of liquid is done continuously. Okay, now this is one of the animations that I will show you. So the animation will look like this. So you can see this is the animation of the reciprocating pump. Okay, now in this diagram or in this video you can see the green color portion is the suction valve, saffron color portion or that valve is our delivery valve, the green color valve is suction valve, then red is our crankshaft, yellow colored part is the connecting rod, and blue color part is our piston, or you can say it is a plunger. Okay, now you can see as now the piston is returning or piston is coming back. Okay, so during this suction is created, and during the suction the green valve will shift and water is allowed to get into the cylinder. Okay, and when the now the piston is forwarding motion, the piston is in forward motion. So during this what will happen, so a pressure is exerted on the water and water will get pressed, and because of that pressure the delivery valve, the saffron color valve over here you can see that will get opened and water will get delivered into the level which is located or into the tank which is located at the higher levels. Okay, so this is the working of the reciprocating pump. Okay, now we can see the important components of reciprocating pump. So first is the piston and cylinder. Piston moves to and fro into the cylinder, that is the piston reciprocates inside the cylinder. That's why the pressure below and above atmospheric pressure is formed. Correct? If the piston will not reciprocate, then what will happen? So it will not create the suction and it will not create the pressure also. Okay, so that's why piston and cylinders are important. Then comes our next part or next components are the crank and the connecting rod. Okay, the crank makes a circular motion and connecting rod makes, or the purpose of crank is to convert, or crank moves into the rotary motion and the piston moves into the reciprocating motion. Okay, so piston moves into and fro motion when crank is rotating. Okay, and this is done with the help of the connecting rod. Okay, so the rotary motion of the of the motor, electrical motor, that will be fed to the crank, and that crank, rotating crank, it will be connected to the connecting rod, and that connecting rod will reciprocate into the area or into the passage which is provided behind the cylinders, and into the cylinders piston will reciprocate, which is connected to the connecting rods. Now the suction pipe, now you know what is the purpose of the suction pipe. So suction pipe is connected to cylinder and source of water, so it transmit water from the source to the cylinder. Okay, so this is the connection link between the reservoir, or you can say the source of water, to the cylinder. Then delivery pipe, so delivery pipe attached with cylinder to deliver to the delivery end. Okay, So if the delivery pipe is absent, then what will happen? The water will get out of the cylinder and it will fall into the or onto the ground. Okay, so delivery pipe, it is the connection link between the cylinder and the higher level water tank. Okay, then suction and delivery valves. Okay, suction valve allows the liquid to enter the cylinder only, and delivery valve permits only delivery of or discharge of liquid from the cylinder. Okay, suction valve will allow only in one direction, it will only allow water to enter into the cylinder. Okay, if water gets out of the cylinder, then that valve getting open is our delivery valve. Okay, these two are non-return valves. Suction valves and delivery valves are non-return valve. Only forward journey of the fluid is possible, return journey of fluid is impossible during this process of suction and delivery. Okay, now the air vessels, which are again important parts in the reciprocating pump. Without air vessels we cannot operate or we cannot get continuous output of water. Okay, air vessels mostly use in case of single acting reciprocating pump. Okay, in the working of reciprocating pump, I have told you the air vessels are only important for the single acting pump. Okay, if we are installing double acting pump, there is no need of the air vessels. It is used to obtain continuous supply of liquid at a uniform rate from a single acting pump, and it helps to maintain uniform rate of flow of liquid in both cases, that is suction and delivery. Okay, so that's why these air vessels are important. Air vessel is a closed chamber generally made up of cast iron and having an opening at its base through which liquid flows out of the vessel. The air vessel's top portion is filled with compressed air and bottom portion, and at the bottom some amount of liquid is present. Okay, so this is the air vessel's function. If air vessel is absent, then in the single acting pump, if the air vessel is absent, then what will happen? We will get a fluctuating discharge of water. Okay, and to get continuous discharge of water, we will have to install the air vessels, or we have to go for the double acting reciprocating pump. Okay, now the performance curves for reciprocating pump. So the how the reciprocating pump performs for discharge against head, then for overall efficiency against head, and for discharge against speed. Okay, if we have a greater discharge, or if we have the greater amount of discharge, then what will happen? The head will remain low. Okay, the value of head will have a very small value, and as we want to increase, if we want to increase the head, the discharge will get a little smaller. Okay, so this curve will show you how the discharge and heads are interlinked with each other. Okay, then as in the second curve you can see over here, if the speed and discharge are interlinked or are in relation up to some limit. Okay, and after that the speed, if we try to increase the speed, then discharge will remain same up to certain limits. As we increase the speed, discharge will increase, and after some limit If we are increasing speed continuously, then what will happen? The discharge will remain same at the constant point. Okay, and in the third position, or and in the third graph, you can see as we increase the head from 0 to certain level, the overall efficiency is gradually increasing. Okay, so these are the performance curves for the reciprocating pump. Using these performance curves, we can say if the pump is having or we can track the performance of the pump. Okay, now the last portion of this video, that is the applications of reciprocating pump. So generally agricultural use of reciprocating pump is more, then in chemical industries, then is in desalination industries, then horizontal drilling, so general industries, mining, oil and gas, pulp and paper. Okay, so these are the applications of reciprocating pump. We can use the reciprocating pumps in chemical industry. Generally what happens in reciprocating pump is, the reciprocating pump has a piston and cylinder arrangement. Okay, so the piston is reciprocating inside the cylinder. Okay, and the piston and cylinder will have a very precise clearance in between, and if the clearance increases, then what will happen? The prescribed amount, or a little amount of pressure will get released. Okay, so to get the certain amount of pressure or certain value of pressure, we must have, or we must put a very precise clearance in between the piston and cylinder. Okay, so in order to use this pump, we must use a very pure water, or a water which will not have any contaminants like mud particles or soil particles. Okay, because mud particles and soil particles or stones, small stones, they will remain inside the piston and cylinder arrangement, and because of that particles, what will happen? So the whole assembly will get jammed, and the reciprocating pump will not work properly. Okay, so that is one of the disadvantages, or that is one of the limitations of reciprocating pump. Okay, then in steel industries also we can use this reciprocating pump in order to pump the clear or pure water. Okay, so this was about the today's video, which is regarding to the reciprocating pump. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask me into the comment box given below. Okay, bye bye.